and they lived happily ever after.
Mr. Andrea Bocelli?
We have had a story, a song.
Andrea Bocelli's name has suddenly exploded across social media again. And this time, it isn't because of a new album release or a grand concert announcement. Short clips, emotional reactions, and stunned comments are flooding timelines, all asking the same question. Did that really just happen? For an artist whose voice has been described as timeless, eternal, and almost otherworldly, this viral moment feels different, heavier, more emotional, and impossible to ignore. People who thought they had already seen everything Andrea Bocelli could offer are now admitting they were unprepared. Fans are replaying the footage again and again, some openly confessing that it brought them to tears while others say it left them speechless. Even younger audiences, many of whom were barely familiar with his legacy, are suddenly discovering his story for the very first time and reacting with shock. What makes this moment so powerful is not just the performance itself, but the deeper truth behind it. Bocelli's journey has never been easy, yet much of his struggle has always remained quietly in the background, overshadowed by his success. This viral moment has pulled back that curtain, reminding the world of what he has endured, what he continues to face, and why his presence on any stage still feels miraculous. As clips continue to spread at lightning speed. One thing is clear, this isn't just another trending video. It's a reminder of resilience, vulnerability, and the rare kind of talent that stops people mid-scroll. And once you understand what truly happened, it becomes almost impossible not to gasp. The moment that sent Andrea Bocelli back into the global spotlight happened quietly, without the kind of build-up most viral sensations rely on. There were no flashy announcements, no aggressive marketing, and no countdowns teasing what was about to unfold. Instead, it began with a single recording, simple, unpolished, and deeply human. Within hours, it spread like wildfire, crossing language barriers, age groups, and even musical tastes. What stunned viewers first was the rawness of the moment. Bocelli's voice, long celebrated for its power and elegance, carried something different this time. There was a fragile intensity woven into every note, a sense that he wasn't merely performing, but revealing something deeply personal. Listeners described feeling as though they were witnessing a private conversation rather than a public appearance. For many, that vulnerability was impossible to look away from. Social media reactions poured in almost instantly. Comment sections filled with phrases like, "I wasn't ready for this," and "this broke me." Even seasoned fans admitted they felt caught off guard. Some noticed a slight pause before certain notes. Others pointed out the emotion visible in his posture and breathing. These details, small yet unmistakable, fueled speculation and emotional responses alike. People weren't just watching, they were analyzing, trying to understand what had changed. The video also reached audiences who had little previous exposure to Bocelli's work. Younger viewers, more accustomed to quick, disposable content, found themselves unexpectedly drawn in. Many admitted they clicked out of curiosity, but stayed because something felt undeniably real. In a digital world saturated with filters and perfection, this moment felt refreshingly unguarded. It reminded viewers that true impact doesn't always come from spectacle, but from sincerity. What truly amplified the reaction was the realization of who Andrea Bocelli is beyond the stage. For decades, he has been admired as a symbol of perseverance, someone who turned immense personal challenges into a remarkable career. Yet over time, that narrative became almost myth-like, polished and distant. This viral moment shattered that distance. It brought the man back into focus, not as an icon, but as a human being still navigating life's weight. Music critics and fellow artists soon joined the conversation. Many pointed out that Bocelli's technical skill remained intact, but that technique alone wasn't what people were responding to. It was the emotional truth behind the performance. One commentator noted that this was the kind of moment artists can't manufacture, no matter how experienced they are. It happens only when someone allows the audience to see them without armor. As the clip continued circulating, it sparked a broader discussion about aging, endurance, and artistic honesty. Viewers began reflecting on how rarely they see legends embrace vulnerability in such an open way. Instead of retreating into nostalgia or perfection, Bocelli appeared to lean into authenticity. That choice, whether intentional or instinctive, resonated deeply in a time when audiences crave connection more than polish. By the end of the week, What started as a single upload had transformed into a global conversation. News outlets picked it up, reaction videos multiplied, and longtime admirers found themselves revisiting his entire body of work with fresh eyes. Yet at the heart of it all remained that one striking realization. Andrea Bocelli didn't go viral because he tried to. He went viral because for one unforgettable moment, he let the world see him exactly as he was as the viral moment continued to spread. Many viewers began asking a deeper question. Why did this feel so different from everything Andrea Bocelli had done before? The answer lies in a truth that time, fame, and repetition had slowly pushed into the background. While the world remembered Bocelli as a flawless symbol of triumph, it had quietly forgotten the cost of sustaining such a legacy year after year. Behind the elegance and standing ovations is a life shaped by constant adaptation. Bocelli has spent decades navigating an industry that demands consistency, even as the body changes and emotional weight accumulates. For someone who built a career on precision and control, maintaining that level of performance is not just challenging, it's exhausting. Over time, the pressure to live up to a legendary image can become as heavy as the struggles that once defined the journey. Those close to Bocelli have long noted that his relationship with music has evolved. Earlier in his career, singing was often described as an act of defiance, a way of proving that limitations did not define him. In more recent years, however, it has become something else entirely, a form of release. Music turned into a space where emotion could surface without explanation, where perfection was no longer the goal. This shift, subtle yet profound, is exactly what audiences sensed in the viral footage. There is also the reality of time. Decades on stage leave their mark, not just physically, but emotionally. Each performance carries memories of past triumphs, personal losses, and moments of doubt the public never sees. Viewers who watched the clip closely noticed how Bocelli seemed to linger within the song, as if acknowledging its meaning in a more personal way than before. It wasn't hesitation, it was reflection. The internet, often quick to judge, surprisingly responded with empathy. Instead of criticism, the dominant reaction was concern mixed with admiration. People weren't questioning his ability. They were recognizing his humanity. In a culture that often discards aging artists, Bocelli's moment felt like a quiet reminder that depth grows with time. Even if the voice itself changes, another layer of the reaction came from those who understood what it means to carry expectations for a lifetime. Many viewers shared their own stories of feeling trapped by the image others had of them. In that sense, Bocelli's performance became symbolic. It wasn't just about music, it was about the courage to show up honestly. Even when the world expects something polished and predictable. Industry insiders later suggested that this authenticity may be why the clip resonated so widely. At a time when many performances are heavily edited and perfected, Bocelli's moment stood out as unfiltered. There was no attempt to hide the passage of time or the emotion behind the voice. Instead, it felt like an invitation to listen without judgment, to feel without comparison. As discussions continued, one truth became impossible to ignore. Andrea Bocelli hadn't lost anything. If anything, he had gained something rare: permission to be seen as he truly is, not just as the legend people built in their minds. The viral reaction wasn't rooted in shock alone. It was grounded in recognition. People recognized themselves in that moment, in the vulnerability, and in the quiet strength it takes to keep going. This was not a farewell or a decline. It was a reminder that artistry does not fade, it transforms. And for those who truly listened, the voice they heard wasn't weaker. It was deeper, richer with experience, and more honest than ever before. What truly set this viral moment apart was not just Andrea Bocelli's performance, but the timing of it. The world is living in an era of constant noise, endless content, rapid trends, and attention that disappears in seconds. In that environment, something quiet and sincere feels almost shocking. Bocelli's appearance cut through that noise, not by demanding attention, but by earning it. Many viewers described an unusual stillness while watching the clip. Instead of scrolling past, they paused. Instead of multitasking, they listened. This reaction speaks volumes about how deeply people connected with what they were seeing and hearing. It wasn't about technical perfection or dramatic flair. It was about presence. Bocelli appeared fully immersed in the moment, unconcerned with how it would be received. And that authenticity created an emotional pull that was impossible to resist. Another reason the moment resonated so strongly lies in what Bocelli represents. For years, he has symbolized perseverance, discipline, and grace under pressure. Yet those qualities often get packaged into inspirational slogans, stripped of their emotional reality. This time, the reality was front and center. Viewers could sense the weight behind the voice, the years of effort, sacrifice, and silent endurance that rarely make headlines. Psychologists and cultural commentators weighed in, suggesting that audiences are increasingly drawn to moments that feel real rather than curated. Bocelli's viral clip fit that need perfectly. There was no sense of performance for the algorithm, no attempt to chase relevance. Instead, it felt like an artist allowing the world to witness a genuine moment of expression. In a culture exhausted by artificial perfection, that honesty felt almost revolutionary. The response also revealed a shift in how people view aging icons. Instead of expecting them to remain frozen in time, many viewers embraced the evolution they were seeing. Comments reflected gratitude rather than disappointment. People thanked Bocelli for continuing to share his voice, even as it carried the marks of time and experience. That response signals a growing appreciation for depth over polish. Interestingly, the viral moment sparked renewed interest in Bocelli's earlier work as well. Streams of his classic recordings surged as people revisited the music that first introduced them to his voice. Yet this rediscovery didn't feel nostalgic. Instead, listeners reported hearing those older performances differently, now understanding the long road that followed. The past and present began to feel connected, part of a single, ongoing story. For Bocelli himself, those close to him suggested the reaction was both surprising and humbling. He has spent much of his career under intense public scrutiny, yet moments like this remind him why he continues to perform. Not for charts or recognition, but for connection. The knowledge that his voice could still move people so deeply reaffirmed the purpose behind decades of dedication. This moment also challenged assumptions about virality. It proved that content doesn't need shock value or controversy to spread. Sometimes all it takes is sincerity delivered at the right time. Bocelli didn't go viral because something went wrong. He went viral because something went right, because he reminded millions of people what it feels like to truly listen. As the clip continues to circulate, its impact shows no sign of fading. It has become more than a trending topic. It's a reference point for conversations about artistry, vulnerability, and the courage to remain visible. For many, it stands as proof that genuine expression still has power in a world that often overlooks it. As the reactions continue to ripple across the world, one truth becomes increasingly clear. This viral moment has reshaped how Andrea Bocelli's legacy is being viewed. For years, his name has been associated with grandeur, elegance, and near-mythical talent. Yet this unexpected surge of attention has added a new layer to that legacy, one rooted in honesty rather than perfection. What people are responding to now is not just what Bocelli can do, but who he is in this stage of life. There is a quiet bravery in standing before an audience without disguising the passage of time. Instead of retreating into carefully controlled appearances, Bocelli allowed the world to see him as he truly is. That choice alone speaks volumes about his confidence, humility, and commitment to authenticity. Legacy, in the traditional sense, is often defined by achievements, awards, and record sales. Bocelli has all of those in abundance. But moments like this suggest that true legacy is built in the spaces between accomplishments. It is formed when an artist chooses sincerity over image, connection over control. This viral moment did not add another trophy to his career. It added meaning. There is also a deeper cultural significance at play. In an era where public figures are expected to maintain an illusion of endless youth and flawlessness, Bocelli's moment challenged that expectation. Viewers did not recoil at the signs of age or emotion. They embraced them. That response reflects a growing hunger for truth in a world saturated with filters and performance. Bocelli, perhaps unintentionally, became a symbol of that shift. Many longtime fans described feeling closer to him than ever before. The distance created by fame seemed to collapse in that brief moment. Instead of watching a legend, they felt as though they were sharing something intimate and unguarded. That sense of closeness is rare, especially for someone whose career has spanned decades and continents. Younger audiences, meanwhile, discovered something unexpected. They weren't just introduced to a celebrated voice, they encountered a story of endurance. For them, Bocelli's viral moment wasn't about nostalgia. It was about witnessing someone continue to show up with purpose, long after they could have comfortably stepped away. That lesson resonated deeply in a generation navigating its own uncertainties. Perhaps, the most powerful aspect of this moment is that it reframed success. Bocelli didn't trend because he reinvented himself or followed a new formula. He trended because he stayed true to who he has always been. In doing so, he reminded the world that relevance doesn't come from chasing attention, it comes from authenticity that stands the test of time. As conversations slowly move on and new trends take their place, this moment will linger. Not as a passing clip, but as a reminder of what art is capable of when it is honest. Andrea Bocelli's voice has always carried beauty. But now it carries something more, a reflection of life itself. With all its weight, grace, and resilience. In the end, this viral moment did not redefine Andrea Bocelli. It revealed him. And for millions of people who paused, listened, and felt something real, that revelation was more than enough to leave them breathless.